show's called, the 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 show's called.
Welcome to Dying Laughing with your hosts, Tim and O.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Dying Laughing. I am one of the hosts. I'm O.
And I am the proprietor general. I'm Tim.
Yeah, and together we make up what we call the Dying Laughing podcast.
We do, for better or worse.
For better or worse, for sure or poor, sickness and... Wait a minute.
No, we're not getting married.
No, we're not. No,
although like that's legal. That's legal now in any number of way you want to slice that.
Yeah.
We could get married.
Yeah, it'd be a biracial...
A biracial gay wedding is
biracial
A-okay now.
Gay wedding. Yes, that's what it would be.
Yeah, but that's cool now. We're all right.
We're all right. We're right.
I still don't want to.
We're in one of those shades of
right.
rainbow somewhere.
Right. The point is, if we wanted to, we could. I just don't want to.
I don't want to either.
Carrie would kill me.
I appreciate your initiative on the subject, but what we need to do is we need to move on. I am, like I said, I'm O. I have multiple myeloma. I've had it since 2017, and he is...
I'm Tim. I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma also in 2017 and 18, but then I lucked out and kicked its ass.
That's right.
So now I don't anymore.
Yeah.
So far.
Yep. He just took a few roots and ate a couple bat wings.
That's all it took. There's strawberry seeds were involved.
And man, it's done wonders. I'm still trying to get
highly oxygenated water.
Yeah,
which is really important.
I'm still trying to get the recipe for that. But yeah,
H2O2, really good for you.
But he received CAR T, which is a wonderful new therapy that they're expanding on and learning from every single day. So that's...
I keep waiting for O to call me and say, "Hey Tim, I got the call. I'm getting the CAR Ts."
Yeah. Well, hopefully, see, in our particular case, in the multiple myeloma space, getting CAR T is not a good thing. That means you're at,
That's true. That means
you're on death's door.
Yeah.
You're knocking, or he's at least at the, he's at least front of the ringer.
Yeah.
Talking like, "You, can I come in?"
He's tracking you like an Amazon package. How many stops away is he? He's got to be within 2 stops before CAR T comes up.
Exactly. But we like to bring the show to you. Everything's been going well. We're super excited for today's topic. We're going to share that a little bit later. But we're going to go into our first segment, which is called How You Feeling?
How you doing? Oh, is it how you feeling?
My Lord.
Oh, let's try that again. Don't.
Let's rewind that. We got to start this new segment called How You Feeling? Can we at least do it in unison? Jesus.
We can try.
No, we're not going to try no more. How you feeling, Tim? How's things been going?
You know what? It's not bad. We talked last time about my desire to be healthy again and healthier, and to not let this little nasty little disease sneak up on me unprepared again. And I have been working hard at that. And I started tracking everything that I eat, all my calories, everything. And I'm using an app called MyFitnessPal, which I'm going to plug so they can hear it and then they can sponsor us. But
yes.
Right, please, by all means, come on. So what I learned
we certainly need sponsors.
What I learned is that I grossly overestimate how big a serving size of something is. Grossly, vastly overestimate.
Yeah, when you start running the numbers, it's a whole different ballgame.
Right, and then I also underestimate how many calories were in that enormous serving that I was giving myself.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Like a serving of peanut butter is a disturbingly sad, small amount of peanut butter. It's barely enough to cover the English muffin.
So once you get the one, then you got to multiply by the spread.
Right, yeah, that's a tough.
See what I did right there? Multiply.
I did by the spread. I picked up on that. So, but I've been doing that. I've been riding my bike a lot. Trying to get out 3 times a week, like we talked about. My friend Joel and I were doing this together. There's a little discrepancy over whether we decided on 3 times a week or 60 miles a week. But either way, I've done both, so it doesn't matter who's right. I am. And I'm down to 184 pounds, which is about 15 pounds down from where I started when we.
I was just about
this.
to ask, where did you start? Because it might not be, quite a feat.
No, I started at 200.
Okay.
You know, and
So now you're down to 185.
Now I'm down to 185, 184 in that ballpark, and
congratulations,
riding my
man.
bicycle like really
Congratulations.
fast. Thank you. It feels good. Hercules.
Congratulations.
So,
Don't do that.
yeah, right. So yeah, I mean, as far as my health is concerned, that part is going well. I get my 6-month checkup in August. I sign another 6-month lease, hopefully. So they'll do some blood work. There's always little niggling things here and there that make me nervous, and I don't think that ever goes away. But every little new pain is like, oh, well, that's weird.
Yep.
Maybe it's a tumor.
Oh.
And then I get Arnold
Tammy
Schwarzenegger.
the tumor.
It's not a tumor.
Tammy the tumor has resurrected
Tammy the
herself.
tumor has come back. That bitch. Get out of here. So that's in a nutshell how I'm doing. If anyone wants to ride bikes with me out in Central Pennsylvania, let me know. We'll do a bike ride together. Maybe we can make it a thing.
Absolutely.
That'd be great. So that'd be cool. Oh, how are you feeling?
How you feeling? Work with me here. I'm coming. How
you feeling?
You said.
How you feeling?
There you go. Let me hear it one more time.
How you feeling?
Okay, you almost there. A couple more tries.
Forget about it.
I'm feeling chipper, my dear friend.
Okay. Chipper's good, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's good. Like I said, I'm celebrating 5+ years of post diagnosis, post stem cell transplant, and
right. That's good news.
Oh, it's absolutely great news. It's great news.
Right.
I'm still here. I mean, it's great news.
The longer, the better, right? Like
the longer, the better. Got some small little, glitches here and there from the cancer and the chemo. But what you gonna do? I mean, it comes with the territory. Yeah, it's like a mechanic, man. If he goes in, work on an engine, and expects to not get greasy a little bit or get a knuckle buster, then that's not realistic. You know what I mean? But he's still a great mechanic. He's gonna still finish the job. So that's how I look at it. I'm dealing with this cancer, and it comes with a couple knuckle busters, and I get a little greasy, but I still keep on working this engine. So that's how
my
I'm
dad
feeling.
used to tell me. My dad used to tell me that if you have a car that has a problem with it that you can live with, leave it be. Live with that one. Because as soon as you fix that one, something else is going to pop up. So he drove around for years with this Subaru that had a bum gas tank. Like the door for the gas just wouldn't lock right. And he just left it because as soon as I fixed that, who knows what's going to come up after that. So we're going to leave it alone.
That's pretty. I mean, he was really stretching out there. Because I'm saying, like,
he's a smart man.
The gas tank, the door to the gas
just
tank.
the door. Like when you go up the gas,
but it's not really connected to anything. So if he could afford not to fix it. But it was a metaphor, I guess. It was an analogy.
Right.
I hear you. It was not the greatest. I'm sorry, Pop. But it was a good one.
It wasn't bad. It's lessons that I've taken with my whole life. Like, I can live with that.
I understand it. It makes perfect sense. Like I said, I never reached remission. So
your check engine light is on all the time.
All the time. And they, say, hey, we need to introduce more chemo or do some different type of chemo to get you to zero. And I'm like, well, you can't cure this. So why would I take on this other trauma to my body? So I just told them no. I mean, like you said, I said, hey, man, so it was around 2% based. Okay. I started at like 42.
Okay.
So, and this was like what the cancer spread level was, or that's what I envisioned, or how much of the kappa light chains in that level was high. So anyway, I got it down to 2%. 42 to 2%. I wasn't trying to reach zero for just, giggles.
That's
and
an interesting question, right? Like how much. My wife and I talked about this when she, I think we talked about it. I don't remember now, but she had breast cancer as well. She was so jealous of my cancer that she went out and got some of her own.
Absolutely.
Gotta have what I had. Gotta do it.
It says till death do you part.
Right. Like, it doesn't mean you have to share everything. Like we want common interests, but not common cancer.
I know, man.
But
it's horrible.
So yeah, it sucked. Like it was not the phone call we wanted to get, but we were talking about her treatment, and she's fine now. Like just to get, there's still, she had surgeries and all that stuff. She didn't need any chemo, but she needed radiation. They offered the chemo. The question was was how much of an improvement is it really going to make? You know, what are the chances of it coming back with chemo as opposed to without chemo? And the difference was like, I don't know, 3-4% difference.
Oh yeah. That's not
So
even
like,
worth it.
why am I going to bother? What if it was a 20% difference? Maybe. But
Yeah.
like, why am
Now
I going
you-
to put
now-
my
now
body
it's-
through
now it's a
all this
conversation.
trauma?
Yeah, now it's a
Right, but
conversation.
why put my body through all that trauma for a you know, statistical anomaly of a difference? Like this is within the margin of error. Like
Right.
who knows if it'll come back or not, and if it making a difference or not. And you got to go through all the trial and trauma. So like, I'm hearing what you're saying. So like, but I guess my question for you though then is what other choices do you have? Like, what other options are there?
There really isn't. I mean,
There isn't, okay.
Yeah.
You're
There-
just
you just prayer.
okay. Well, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. I didn't mean to say it so, you know, but yeah, prayer. I mean, prayerfully, and I'm very hopeful that God will expand the intellect of the doctors to create the medicine, or just send down one of His dynamite miracles. Just pow, hit me with it.
Boom,
You know what
there
I
you
mean?
go. Healed.
But yeah. Other than that, the therapies that they're doing or treating multiple myeloma are pretty standard across the board, no matter where you at, as far as what stage you're in or ethnicity. It doesn't matter. So yeah, so they're trying new therapies like CAR T and hoping that they maybe can get that to a point of maybe not necessarily being a cure. It might be the case, but get it to a point where there's another type of therapy that's more targeted and
Yeah.
also somewhat more safe
Yeah.
than
Yeah. Another
from a
rung
lo-
on the ladder.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm good. Other than that, man, I'm doing good. There's a lot of great stuff going on. We'll talk about that later in the show.
There is. You dropped some fire tracks. Is that how the kids say it these days?
Oh my God. We'll talk about that at another time. But we want to go on to that was a great way to lead into our next segment.
I'm smooth.
Very smooth. So
Smooth AF, as foretold.
As for two. Going to our next segment, and if you got to look at your paper, do so. It is called Vital Signs. Why you go so slow, man? Like
I'm following your lead.
I'm going faster than that.
No, you ain't.
You're actually moving as if you're on, like, you know, some special kind of class or something.
Vital.
All right, so we're going to try this one more. That's twice. So here we go. It's Vital Signs, and we're going into this segment with Tim.
Okay. Vital signs.
See,
That
there
was
you go.
So much worse.
Yeah, that
Right.
doesn't work. So I'm gonna let Tim start off with some great vital signs information for our listeners and viewers.
Yeah, there's a couple things, and one that you didn't have on the paper, but I wanted to talk about.
Okay, let's start off with that
You know,
one.
I've talked about riding my bike a lot. It's the Tour de France this month. So that's exciting to see that. And one of the doctors from one of the leading teams is also involved in cancer research. And they're talking about using some of these Tour de France cyclists as the model. Like this is what it looks like when things are running well. You know, what does it look like when things are going bad? Especially looking at how they process lactate. Not lactate like the milk stuff, but lactate like byproduct of the Krebs cycle. And using that, looking at the metabolic chains of cancer, like not like the last 50, 60 years, everything with cancer has been genetic. Like, how do we fight it genetically? How do we do it that way? The question they're asking now is, how do we starve it? Like, how do we just take away its food source?
Right.
Because one of the trackers for cancer, when we do it, it loves sugar. Right?
Yes,
it takes
it does.
a lot of glucose, and that's how we can see it in a lot of the scans. Like, we'll give you like a super dense Gatorade, and they make and the cancer cells just absorb all that sugar.
Man, I'm
and
gonna
they
die
produce
tomorrow,
lactate.
man. I got a sweet tooth that's not nobody's business.
Seriously,
I
you need to stop eating all those cookies. So they're looking now at, and this is research that was done 100 years ago, before the genetic side of it came, before Watson and what's his name did the DNA strand and all that. Like, they're going back to old research about the metabolic feeding cycles of cancer and how we can go about starving it rather than genetically kill it. Like, how can we just take away its food source?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
it was-
great concept.
It was
Simple.
a really neat idea, and the guy that talked about it the video I saw, I had to watch it 2 or 3 times to even get this level of understanding of it. And not because I'm not the smartest knife in the drawer. Is that the right analogy? But I think
I don't
it wasn't.
think so.
It wasn't. I'm not the
Smartest
sharpest.
knife,
I'm not the
knife.
sharpest
Knife.
light on the street.
No.
No.
That's all.
So
You're
I
not
don't
the
think it was
brightest crayon
because
in the box.
I'm not the brightest crayon in the box, and I'm also not, a dull crayon.
No. You're definitely right above the bottom row, because the bottom row had all the dark colors. So
I'm in the middle row. Yeah, I'm like peach.
You're at the bottom. You're
Yeah,
right above
on
it.
the bottom, right above it. So I think the video was part of the problem. Is that it wasn't super well explained, and English wasn't his first language. And,
Oh, okay.
And the guy that was interviewing was an athlete, not a science-matician. So.
Well, we'll definitely put the link in there so people can.
But yeah,
maybe
it was on the
try
GCN
to
show,
see
and
if
I'll
they
put the
can
link
figure it
on
out
it.
themselves.
Yeah. So there's another thing you had here too about new targeted therapy for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma called monoclonal antibodies.
Oh Lord, did you get that straight?
Monoclonal antibodies.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Targeted therapy using lab-made proteins to treat non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Antibodies attached to a target on the cancer cells and kill them, block their growth, or stop them from spreading. So,
Similar to what you were almost referring to.
yeah, that's what made me think of it, is that we're kind of killing it from a different side. We're going to genetically, we're still going to look at, we'll do the CAR T stuff and all those things, but also let's siege, right? Let's cut off the food supply.
Yeah, that's like let's starve it. If it was an
Let's
apocalypse,
starve it out.
That's how they would handle a zombie apocalypse. They just starve them
Right.
out,
Just starve them out.
or just beat their heads in. Anyway, look, I'm another vital sign.
Yeah, another vital sign, please. Should we try to say it together again? Because it
No,
didn't
we
go
shouldn't.
well
No, we're
last
good.
time.
There is and also in the world of cancer drugs, there is one miracle new cancer drug from the era of rapid development. We're making vaccines in 2 days nowadays. Is called, let me make sure I pronounce this, dostarlimab.
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 He sounds like a Bond villain.
It sounds
Dostarlimab.
Now this is a crazy drug. They should make a whole Bonic wiki to drugs, because we can't pronounce half. Can you pronounce the drugs? The real technical term of the drug.
Yeah. No, R-chop I can say, but...
Yeah. And who gets this? Who's been granted this wonderful, illustrious job of naming drugs? Is it just one guy, and he's in some room, and he's got this conveyor belt that goes along, and this drug comes up blank, and it just says it does this. He smokes some weed, maybe, or something. It just be like trichocelamamacocone. That's
He's
what that is.
probably the same
and
guy
cures...
that came up with all of the abbreviations for the states. They're all messed up, and he had a problem with them.
Well, this dostarlimab is an anti-programmed cell death protein. It's short for PD-1. It's a monoclonal antibody, which
Death protein.
Yeah.
Is that like a deaf comedy jam? Is it the same kind of
It's
deaf?
a deaf comedy jam for cancer. Yeah.
For cancer. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
They're dying in the crowd, laughing.
They're
Okay,
slaying.
Antibodies has mesmerized the medical profession by showing complete 100% cure. I'm going to start that cure of patients with colorectal cancer.
Wow. Cure is not a word that cancer docs like to throw around.
I know, right? I had to put that in there. Like the word cure in the cancer world is like seeing an endangered species that's been gone for 400. It's like seeing Bigfoot.
Right.
It's like they got to cure him. Like that was Bigfoot. Yeah, I mean, or like you said, unicorn, mermaid. Well, some people believe mermaids exist. I don't think so, but that's awesome in a field where we celebrate all the time, or not celebrate, but we embrace all of the not so great things as about cancer and how they're not coming up with a cure, and we keep chasing things. It's sure great to celebrate something positive. So
Yeah.
For all the colorectal.
So if you've got butt cancer, good news for you.
yeah. Good news, wonderful news for you. And,
Wonderful news for the butt stuff.
Wonderful news for the butt stuff. And that leads us to our next move that we're about to make. We're going to go into our topic of the day. But however, before we do that, we are going to go to a commercial break.
The show's called.
Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh.
I have no idea why I did.
Like the chairs moving.
Heeyyyy. Heeyyyy.
Whew, that's some old man shit.
We are back. Thank you so much for those kind words from our sponsor, Bumpin' Uglies Trampolines.
And our other sponsor is Crimpy Cruster's Cream Bob.
The fine law firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
Yes, and lubricants. The side effects that come along with this wonderful world of cancer that we live in. As you notice with most commercials.
And it's all the fast lawyer speak at the end of the commercials.
Right.
Right, that isn't
Is it? Are
endearing.
those lawyers? Super
There's
quick.
way more side effects than there is actual symptoms.
You're looking at the commercial, it's all this wonderful,
They're happy and they got puppies and they're smiling.
Yeah. I think we cussed in the show like 3 times.
We did.
But in the background, it's like calls, poop, shit,
Right,
runs,
You will
vomiting.
leak out of-
But there's another sicky side effect that, chemo, did you know chemo can affect your sex drive?
Yeah. And welcome back.
Yes.
Thank you for that word from our two wonderful sponsors. The one that I brought up was from Good Times Lubricant. Why call it lubricant when you lubricate?
And I am so thankful to give a shout out to the Big Booty Fan brand for sponsoring us and taking care of all our HVAC needs. So thank you, big booty HVAC.
It's
It's a lot of B's. You can't get it out. Big
so many bees. You need a little lubricant to get that word out.
All right. Well, that leads us right into today's topic. And today's topic is, you down with O.P.P?
Do you know me?
You down with O.P.P?
Yeah, you know me.
Okay, you down with O.P.P.
Yeah, you know me.
Everybody. So O.P.P stands for other people. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me get myself straight.
Property, right? Other people's property.
No. O.P.P stands for optimism,
Patience.
patience, and prayer. O.P.P.
All right.
All right, so we're going to lead it off right into the first one. We're going to talk about optimism and the importance of it. And where I like to go is, I know it's difficult. So you're in a situation, you're facing some troubling times, got some bad news about your health, whether it be cancer for the first time, relapse, or whatever the case may be. It's important to stay optimistic. And the reason why I think that you should stay optimistic, this is not a science. I don't know if this is factual or they have data behind it, but I'm sure they do because they can create data for everything.
Right. You can make data.
But I personally believe that your mindset is just as important as the medicine.
Absolutely.
And staying optimistic draws that energy. Energy is real. It's all around us. And, my take on optimism has been like that my entire life. I'm always looking at the brighter side of things. I always see things in a different perspective. And so, that's my take on the importance of optimism in the acronym O.P.P.
Yeah, I think it was Henry Ford. He said something like, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Right? Like, you are going to find what you look for.
Exactly.
I think we talked about it once or twice before too. I used to play that game Yellow Car with the kids, right? Like, and there's yellow cars everywhere now. There's no more yellow cars than there were when I didn't play, but now I'm looking for them.
Now you're looking for them.
Right? If you're looking for reasons to be optimistic, looking for reasons to be hopeful, you're going to find them. And if you look for reasons to be despondent, they're prevalent. That's like gray car. You know, they're everywhere. Like, nobody has to play that game. Yeah, but you'll find what you're looking for. Not that, you just have to have a cheery disposition and a good outlook and everything's going to be fine. You're going to, no matter how optimistic you are, you still are dealing with something awful.
Yeah.
So
there's going to be some confetti. It's not always balloons and confetti, as I like to say. Sometimes
Right.
you're going to have some rainy days.
Sometimes it's vomit and urine. Like, it's all exploding like balloons and confetti.
Yeah, rainy days is really nice. Sometimes it's a tsunami.
Right, but there's always something. There's always something to be hopeful about. Even if it's that you've survived every bad day you've ever had so far.
Yeah.
Every one of them. Every single bad day you've ever had, you've beaten.
And it's important to try to, and I feel you on that. It's important to capture the moment. See, if you stick with moments you'll start to see when you're looking at all the different moments in your life during the course of a day, you'll start to see a lot more good than when you start to try to see it from this broad lens. And at times when you go out broad like that, all you can see is, I got cancer. This is, I got this therapy to go to. This is not working. And that, I'm not denying that those things might not be happening, but if you hone back in a little bit, you might see yourself. You with your granddaughter the other day, even though you might not have been feeling well. You was with your granddaughter the other day because the alternative is in the dirt.
Right.
I mean, that's the reality of it. And
right, you're still upright and ambulatory.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And I know sometimes it gets. I know it gets heavy. I do know it gets heavy.
Oh yeah.
But you can't stay in that hole. You can't stay in that rabbit hole. You can't stay in that ditch forever. You got to come on out and see the world because you're not dead. Yeah, you got cancer.
Right, like
you're not dead.
When I'm at the gym, I tell people to like to build on success, right? Like you're not gonna. Maybe you can't lift as much as the guy next to you, but you can lift more than you did.
Yep.
Right? So like build success on success and take whatever win you can and then build on that one. And you're not the only one you're trying to win, the only one you're trying to beat is yourself. Right? All I want to do is beat this cancer, beat whatever it is I've got in front of me. Right? It doesn't matter that someone else is doing it different.
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
Right? You have your own very personal battle in front of you, and every little inch of ground that you take, celebrate it.
I agree.
Celebrate it.
So, I believe that you take that optimism, and then that optimism then translates into you having to have patience. I think patience is a virtue.
It is. And I have so many opportunities to get better at it. You'd think that I'd be good at it by now,
Right.
but I'm not. I'm not.
And I don't know. I can't speak for most people, but I think a lot of people, if they took a really good, hard look at themselves in the mirror, they probably say, I do need to get more patience. I don't think you really can ever have enough, the perfect peace, perfect patience. But I do know it takes a lot to go through anything in life, but especially dealing with cancer and that whole process. It takes patience, not just on the patient level.
That's what you did there.
But it takes patience on the caregiver level. It takes patience on friends and family. Because those that care about you, they all have cancer. Now, they might not, and I know there's some people out there that they ain't got no cancer, they ain't feeling what I'm feeling. I would probably tell you probably don't have the right support system, support group around you. But it's a different way of feeling it. They might not be going through the physical stuff, but they're going through the mental stuff just as much as you're going through the physical stuff, which can lead to physical issues, as we well know. So I think it's important to have patience because miracles don't happen overnight. I know they say they do, but I think that it takes time to wait and see things out. We want we live in a society that wants instant gratification.
Oh yeah, fast food, microwave, like get it to me right away.
Yeah. I want a
Next day
pop-up
delivery
pill.
isn't fast enough. I want it today. Yeah, but I don't want to wait for it. I want to hit buy it now, and I want it to show up
Right
now.
and it goes the same thing for when they're not healthy. They want the cure right now. Give me the pill. Give me the shot. It doesn't work like that for cancer.
It doesn't work like that for most things. Like most things that are worth it take some time.
Take some time and patience.
Yeah.
I know I can tell you a story for myself. There was a time frame, something was going on with my leg, and I'm thinking I'm having maybe blood clots, because this is all this information that we're filled with. I also think we don't need as much information as we
That's
should
a
receive.
whole other thing.
But that's a whole
like
nother show. But the
the
point
barrage of information.
is, yeah. But the point is I believed something was going on in my leg. My leg was feeling funny. It was giving me the symptoms of maybe a blood clot or something. So I'm looking and I'm going through the motions. I got the light on. I'm comparing my leg to the next leg, and I'm trying to do all this, kind of what was it, John MD type stuff. Like I'm a doctor,
Right.
and I spent maybe a few days going through this and going through the motions, and then eventually I called the doctor. Went to see the doctor. He looked at it. He says there's nothing wrong. Most people have something bigger than the other. Legs, one's not as long as the other, shorter than the other. He said, when you have a blood clot, you're not going to have to think your
Right.
leg is
Yeah.
bigger
There's
than the
no
other.
wondering.
Yeah, right. He was saying there's no wondering. But my point is, if I would have just had the patience instead of going through the motions of trying to figure it out myself, and just say, hey, look, let me just call up the doctor. You know what I'm saying? And get that over with. Right from the door, I wouldn't have went through all that, all that stress that I had to go through of 2 days of thinking my life was about to end.
Right.
And so, it's important for you to make sure you have that kind of patience, so that the sky isn't falling every time you see something wrong with you. That's the point of the story, is to, it's not to be oblivious that something's going on, but just
Right.
have a little patience that you're okay.
Things
it's
are
not coming
probably
back.
not as bad as you
Right.
think.
It's
Like,
not
if you-
coming back. That pain
if
you're
it-
feeling is not what you think it is.
If it clops like a horse and whinnies like a horse, and runs like a horse,
Probably.
think horse, not zebra. Right?
True. So, I don't know how you feel about patience and what it pertains to you, Tim.
Yeah, sometimes I think I've had the opportunity to become patient and grow patient. I think I am doing better, and then I get stuck behind somebody going 65 in the left lane next to some other guy going 65 in the right lane, and it's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. There's no patience for
Road
that.
rage, part 4.
This lane is for crime. You go over there. Like, I gotta go fast this way.
Yeah.
So, like, I do like to get to the bottom of things. I do like things to work now. Like, I want to have the answer. I want to have the solution. And just some stuff, it just takes time. And if you try to rush it, it doesn't work. Like if you're making brownies or cookies, and it takes, if a batch of cookies takes 15 minutes at 350, it's not going to take 8 minutes at 700.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's
Right.
not how it works. You can't just turn the heat up in half the time and get the same result. Like,
Exactly.
it's just not happening that way. So I'm constantly reminding myself to chill.
Relax
With
a
my
little bit.
ADD riddled brain is not good with chill. It's not how I work. I'm like a squirrel, which I think I killed one today on my bike ride, by the way. That just struck my head.
Oh, I'm
Those
calling
little
Peter.
guys, they're always
calling
like,
Peter.
like, the squirrels, they get out and they screw with you, right? Like, they get in the middle of the road
Calling
in
the
the
Humane
car,
Society.
and they try to, play chicken with you. And this
A
one
squirrel?
lost.
Tried to play
a squirrel. And squirrel tried to play chicken, right? And this one, he got halfway across. He saw me coming. I'm
On a
going
motorcycle?
35 miles.
Hold on,
No, on my bicycle.
Oh, okay.
I'm going
like that,
down a
like
hill.
That makes a big difference, though. But okay.
And not to the squirrel, it didn't. It's going downhill at 35 miles an hour, and the squirrel goes, oh, and then he runs back in front of me and thump, thump, just ran right over it.
Oh, man.
So that squirrel has
You didn't have
plenty of
enough
opportunity
patience,
now
man.
to be
You didn't have enough
patient. He
patience to
needed
turn it.
a split second more patience. That's all it took.
No, you needed more patience.
I couldn't do anything about it. I was
Oh,
going
man.
fast. That squirrel needed to just sit still for a second. He would have been fine.
Well,
But anyway.
Yeah, I think the best way to go into the next piece of this is to say another example of patience is that you're sick, you believe something's wrong with you. They do testing, and they say we'll get the test results in like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Those whole 3 weeks,
Ugh.
you're all over the place.
It's that whole thing is like hurry up and wait. Like, we got to get you the oncologist today, but you can't see him for 2 weeks.
But the point is that all that time, I know it's difficult, but you stress yourself all out, and then when you get to the visit, it's going to be what it's going to be, and it might not be what you thought it was. Mm-hmm. So you took all that time and all that stress and all that energy when you could have tried to just enjoy it. And that's what I mean by the optimism. Optimism that this diagnosis is going to turn out great. And if it doesn't, I'll deal with that when that time frame comes. And so in between that time, look around you and enjoy those moments. Enjoy the moments that you have without that information in your head. And sometimes that leads to prayer. And that's one of the other P's. Matter of fact, it's the last P in O.P.P. Mm-hmm. And prayer. I know this is going to be funny because this is going to be an interesting conversation because my fellow colleague probably has a vastly different opinion.
We have very different opinions. Yeah, I think that's probably true.
About prayer. So I don't even know who should start. What is it? The antagonist and protagonist. So who should start first?
I don't even like that separation of the good guy and the bad guy. Like I don't want to be.
Okay, you want to be
either of those.
So we'll just be the informers. We're just bringing an observation out there. So for me, I think I seen a documentary. I wanted to say the documentary was called Cure, and in this documentary, they talked about the 3 different types of ways of treating illnesses. One was obviously medical, the other was holistic, and the other one was spiritual. And they went deep into all 3. And at the end of the documentary, she said something that was profound. I was waiting for her to see which way she was going to go, but she said something profound, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to, take that Puffy style. Take that. She said, I think you need a little bit of all 3. And that's what I believe. I think that's my mentality too. I think for me, number 1 is prayer. And then that prayer and that hope and whatever, hopefully, whoever you believe in, but hopefully it's the Lord. But that prayer gives you hope to know you're not in control. You got to have patience, got to let somebody else drive the wheel. And then that stems all the way down into all of your treatment and the things that you're doing, going through that. I know a lot of things have happened for me that don't make any sense. They don't make any sense at all. Like my diagnosis and leading up to my diagnosis doesn't even make sense. But what I do know is that since my diagnosis, my relationship with God has gotten stronger, and I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that everything happens for a reason. We might not always know those reasons, but that's why I do, a whole lot of praying. And I think it's important to have that tool in your toolbox of cancer fighting. So that's how I feel about it. And I'll turn it over to my good partner, Tim, as he ingests this vast dialogue of Go ahead.
Oh man, I don't know how far I want to get into that.
I wouldn't go too deep. This is
no,
only
I mean,
a 40-minute program.
40-minute program. We're pushing it already, and like I have a degree in theology. Like I studied this. I went to school. I was professionally Catholic for a long time. Like that was my job. Was to be professionally into Jesus, and this is. I don't want to get too far afield here. I think there is something about prayer. I, however, don't think that it's necessarily because you're communicating with anything divine. I think it's you're finding something within yourself. I think you're quieting yourself and meditating and finding something that is good, that is real, that is true, that is deep inside of you, and that's a good thing to do. You know, and to be able to tap into that is good. I don't like the whole everything happens for a reason. That has a lot of connotations that aren't great. And some of the reasons are that you've made terrible decisions, and this is the fruit of them. Like, yeah, that's what happens. You know, like, yeah, but I have a problem with the idea that the guy that created the entire universe made all this from nothing. It's expanded the speed of light in every direction at all times, and everything works together so well and so perfectly. There had to be a reason to give us cancer. You know, like that seems inefficient. It seems if he was capable of doing all of that, or she, you know, whatever the gender may be, capable of doing all of this wonderfulness, maybe there's a better way to do some of this minutia. So there's a lot to unpack there that I don't want to get into.
No, it's cool.
You know, like but I think there's something to be said for meditation, you know,
I agree.
For seeking quiet, for seeking peace.
I definitely agree with the meditation thing 100%.
I think we're disagreeing is what it is exactly that we're tapping into when we do
Right,
something.
we're meditating, right? And you know, but the thing is, Tim, the thing is, it's not, you're not alone. You know, that's not an alone thought. I'm 100% certain that if you could poll every cancer patient across the United States and everywhere, some of them might feel the same way you feel about prayer, and why would the one, you know, allow that to happen? This is what I would say, because it's very tricky. I don't know to tell somebody whether they're right or wrong. You know, what I can say is I think people have different opinions, and some things work for everyone. So you gave the example about why did he give us this cancer, and I certainly asked myself a couple of questions. I asked myself that a couple of times in different variations. But then when I think about it, maybe some things we just don't, it's not meant for us to understand. You know what I mean? And because I feel like you can take any kind of situation and create a narrative that make it seem like it makes sense or work for whatever kind of information you're trying to pass on. But I could say to myself, and I have, well, how come I've been chasing it for 2 years and I was only in stage 1? You know what I mean? And chasing it for 2 years, I should have been in the dirt. Or why somebody who got the same treatment as me, same time, same whatever, they made it. I mean, I made it and they didn't, you know? And so their folks could be saying, well, I'm blessed, the guy that made it, and say, why did God let this happen to me? So I just feel like it's just, you can create a narrative for any kind of thing you're trying to support or trying to influence on a person. But I just try to say for myself, this is what works for me to help me get me through. And I won't tell anybody to do something different. These are just our observations and our opinions. But yeah, I just feel like you need a little bit of all of that, because I hate to say it, but God been working through, if you believe in the Bible, God has been working through people since the beginning of time. So I feel like the doctors and all those folks, that these smart young people, these new generations of smart folks that are coming up, You know, it has to be a means to an end for it. You know what I mean? These people come into this world and come up with a cure for colorectal. You see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it just is what it is. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's just like life sucks. You know what I mean? On that level, it just is what it is. But you gotta have hope in something, because if you don't believe and have hope in something, then what are we doing? You know,
We're
you
living.
hope for,
I mean, that's what we're doing.
but
I don't hope for something better after this. I don't. And I think that's what makes this so worth fighting for. That's what makes this moment so fucking precious. Right?
Right.
Because for all intents and purposes, it's too soon to tell what happens next. We don't know.
Right.
We don't know what happens next. It's too soon to tell. Right?
Right.
So that means that this moment is the only thing that we are promised.
Right.
This very moment. And it can never be repeated. It can never be paused. It can never be skipped. It can never be rewound. This is it. This is the moment.
It's up
right?
on
So
YouTube.
even that, you're just watching a replay of someone else's moment. Right? But like, that's what makes this so beautiful.
But you know,
Right? Because I don't know if there's anything more than this. And this is pretty incredible. Like what we have, this world that we live in, all of this, it's amazing.
it's amazing when you can view it in a mindset and a feeling that where you're healthy. You know, if you're not healthy, it is not so
Even
great.
when I was sick, like this world that we have, these moments that we have are incredible.
Oh, absolutely.
And when I was sick, it was even more poignant because I thought, man, I'm running out of the end. Like I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here. I mean, I might have any minutes left.
Well,
And I remember like crying in the kitchen with Trish. Like when I found out that my disease was refractory and my survival chances are in the teens now.
Right.
I remember crying like, I don't want to die. Like I don't want this to end.
Right.
Like not because I don't know what's after this, but that's not the point. The point is that what I have now, I don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
Right? Like this time we have is all that we know.
So I'll say this as we lead into our next segment.
There's another segment?
As we close the show. But, you know, and let me get my thoughts together. I would say this. All that you just said, you can take out God if you want. Let's remove him out of the equation. Let's remove religion out of the equation. You can take just what you just said. We should be living like that anyway. We shouldn't have to have cancer.
Right. Right. You shouldn't need, you don't need cancer or church to live that way. Right?
I mean, and I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying the point really is that you should be living moment to moment and trying to be your happiest, the best version of yourself. But everybody doesn't have that mental capacity to see it the same way that you just explained it. Some people they don't know what's on the other side, or they don't know if there's anything else on the other side and are petrified of dying. And some people don't know what's on the other side and be like, you know what? I'm gonna live my best life, and when I get to the other side, I'll worry about that.
See what it's like.
See what it's like. So
I have a suspicion. I think it'll be very much like, for me, what it was like for me before I was born. I won't know.
Well, I have this funny suspicion. I hope so. I got a funny suspicion that he's got a great sense of humor, and he's definitely got a lot of comedy shows sometimes up there.
Somewhere, yeah, something's going on.
He's got to be laughing at us. If we're all his children, some of the stuff we do, got to make him laugh.
Right, and I do want to clarify one thing too. Like, I do believe there's some magic in the universe. Right, there's something.
Like Puff the Magic Dragon.
Like, not necessarily. No, that's just at your house. But the universe, part of the universe, very small. I do believe there's some.
Oh my goodness.
There's some magic in there.
There's some magic.
I don't understand it, and that's okay. Like, I don't have to understand it.
Right.
Right. I don't have to know everything, and I all I know is what I have, and what I have is pretty incredible. Like what we have, not me. Like my life is so great. Like, it's okay, right? But like, it's not bad. But everything that we've got here, right now, regardless of what might or might not come next, the current reality is beautiful.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
And the more beauty we can bring into it, the better everyone else will be. And I think that's part of our responsibility, right? And you say like people maybe don't see it that way, and part of our job might be to help shed that light.
That's why we're doing this right now.
That's why we're doing this, and we're gonna try to make you laugh while we're at it.
Yeah, trying to. What do you mean trying?
This last 10 minutes was a little rough.
It was a little rough. Got a little deep.
I love you, O. I do.
Yeah, so we're gonna close out the show on that note with the segment that we say is any last words.
Right.
And I ain't talking about death, but any last
anymore.
But what I say is this, and I'll just, my last word for today would be, I always go to the same one. So let me see if I can find something a little bit more
unique.
Yeah, unique. Fortitude. I don't know.
All right.
You like that word? Fortitude?
Sure. It's a good word.
So, this battle is not for the faint of heart.
No.
This road we travel is not for the meek. You have to have you have to have your armor. You got to have your armor up. Now, you can fortify that with having some the God inside that armor too, or whatever you want to put in it. But you better have some fortified armor because it's going to come at you in all kinds of different ways. I mean, nobody's going to candy coat that. But what I like to do is I think laughter is the greatest medicine that God ever created. If he didn't, it was somebody else that was smoking weed somewhere and just started laughing at everything. The point is that it's the greatest medicine. I believe it's therapeutic. And that's how we try to conduct ourselves. And so that's what I would suggest to our listeners. Sometimes, man, just take a good hard laugh, man. Just like you take out sometimes people just yell real loud. You know, there's a thing or like a business where you can come there and just do crazy stuff. You can break stuff.
Like breaking rooms. Yeah, like you smash all the stuff.
Yeah,
and
I'm not suggesting going there, but if that's what it takes, do what you got to do.
Don't do it at my house.
Just
go to the place.
Don't do it at your house.
Yeah.
But
break someone else's stuff.
In all seriousness, try to laugh a little bit more, smile a little bit more, stop, look around, and find the beauty in that moment. If you just stop, take a deep breath, and look around, you'll see, and look at it from a different, lens. Just look for all the beautiful things that are around you. You could be easily going through this stuff and be outside homeless instead of where you're at right now. So I'll just say, and with that, just stay fortified in your mission and your travels.
Yeah, I would say, gosh, there's so much to stay. That's what I'm looking for.
Stay woke.
Stay woke. No, that's not it.
Stay woke.
Stay open. Stay not open. That's not the right word either. To keep the wonder alive.
Mm-hmm.
Look around and really see what's there and allow yourself to be amazed by it.
Mm.
Like let that happen. Like and let that wonder kind of like blow your mind a little bit. That's it. That's all I got. That's
okay, man. Listen, once again, we appreciate you guys listening and watching. Just a Dying Laughing podcast. Please follow us on all social medias, except for a couple.
Right. We've laughed more than we've died so far today, so we're winning.
So follow us on Facebook, Instagram.
Do we have a Twitch yet?
I think we got.
Do we have a Twitters? Do we have Twitters?
So.
Do we Snapchaps? I don't think we Snapchaps.
We don't have no snappy chats and all that.
What about the Tic Tacs?
We got no Tic Tacs.
No
we
Tic Tacs.
got Instagram. We got YouTube. We got
We'd have
Apple,
YouTube, and this would be up
and we're
there
on
on
all
YouTube.
streaming platforms.
All of them.
I mean, even the one in like a third world country, they're talking about dying laughing.
Probably.
And with that being said,
There it is. Ba-ding! Only once this whole show.
we want to thank you guys. Please continue to join in, subscribe.
Yeah, join the conversation, like email and whatever it is. Like, get involved in the comments, and let's.
Let's
This
get
is
this
a lot.
thing.
Like, we talk about a lot today. So if you have things you want to bring up, like let's hash it out, and we'll continue it.
This is an interactive program. So
Yeah.
please join us in the next episode as we talk about interactive things that you can interact with.
Join us. Leave your
And
gift
that,
to
my friends,
follow.
wraps up the show. Because I'm telling you, the sun is shining, but ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
Boom, boom, boom.
I don't know the
The show's
words
gone. The show's 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 gone.